Today, I'm sharing 3 powerful things that can keep you stuck in the cycle of OCD. The first is chasing perfection through looking for certainty all the time. This is really at the heart of OCD. The one thing that people with OCD dislike the most is uncertainty because of all the anxiety that produces. When we feel uncertain about something, when we have that kind of feeling that comes up that tells us this is not okay. I need to search for that certainty. I need to think about this. I need to go over that situation one more time. I need to think about the past again. I need to go back and check the lock one more time. I have to wash my hands again, or I need to think about it until I feel just right. All of these kinds of thoughts and all of this kind of thinking is really about one thing, and that is about trying to have more certainty. We want to reassure ourselves. We want to feel better. We might ask other people what they think. We might go onto Google. We might kind of try to find out in other ways by repeating a task or checking something. And really everything here is about looking for that certainty. To get over OCD, we really have to learn how to put up with the discomfort of uncertainty, or at the very least, learning how to allow a little bit more uncertainty into your day-to-day life. And if you are struggling with OCD and anxiety, I do now have a 12-week program to help you to break free. It's based on my own personal experiences, having dealt with OCD for many years, and now also having helped hundreds of people to overcome OCD. If you're interested in finding out more about that, you can head over to my website, robertjamescoaching.com. There's a link in the show notes. And now on with the rest of the episode. Of course, when you're first struggling with this, when you're first learning how to do this, it can be very difficult at first. But actually, it's something that you can really kind of learn to develop. It's a skill. Learning to allow a bit more uncertainty in life is really a superpower. Once you can do that, well, you can do so much more with your life. You can tolerate discomfort more. You can allow things to be uncertain and still get on with your life and follow your dreams, follow your goals. And, it's something that can really help you in your life. The next really important thing to understand is, OCD is really massively about rumination, and this really links in with uncertainty. Why do we ruminate? Why do we spend hours going round in circles in our heads with our thoughts? Well, again, it's all about looking for that certainty. And unfortunately, rumination is actually one of the most common compulsions in OCD. If you find yourself going round in circles, looking for that certainty, thinking about things, looking at things from different angles or different perspectives, really what's happening is you're getting caught up in this kind of reassurance seeking. You may have heard of reassurance seeking as being a very common compulsion in OCD. But often when people think about reassurance seeking, they think about asking somebody else for their opinion. Really, what I'm talking about here, though, with rumination is that we take reassurance, but we actually want to provide that reassurance for ourselves. There's not an external person here, but basically by going over things again and again, thinking about them from all of those different angles. Really, what we're doing is we're trying to give ourselves that reassurance to be more certain about something. And the kind of way in which we're doing that is just thinking about things in a circular way. We might get a kind of an answer, or we might come to a conclusion when we think about things like this. But typically what tends to happen is that answer or that conclusion, it doesn't make you feel good or good enough for very long. Normally you only feel good for a few seconds or maybe a few minutes, until another kind of problem pops up or a different angle on that particular problem suddenly appears from nowhere. And then off we go again. We have to start thinking about it again, and we get caught up in that cycle. And so, learning to manage rumination is absolutely essential in order to overcome OCD. And the final thing that most people are doing and need to learn to kind of change is really being very rigid about difficult emotions. When anxiety or shame or guilt or anger or frustration, whatever it might be that's related to the OCD, when that stuff comes up, typically with OCD, what we're doing is we're performing compulsions in order to deal with those difficult emotions. We don't want to allow ourselves to feel those things. That those difficult emotions have become so strong, so bothersome in our lives that we've realized that, we don't have to fully experience them. If we perform these compulsions, we can do these things, this kind of checking or this ruminating or whatever it might be for you. And when we do those compulsions temporarily, it kind of dampens down the level of anxiety, the level of shame, whatever it is that you're struggling with. And it gives us this kind of false sense of control, at least in the short term. But actually, all we're really doing is, of course, we're performing compulsions. So we're actually reinforcing the cycle of OCD. A huge part of getting over OCD is learning how to feel those more difficult emotions, to prove to ourselves that we're actually stronger than them and that we can move past them. So if you find yourself really kind of getting caught up in OCD, these are 3 areas that, if you learn about them and you learn to move past them, it can really help you in the long term. So many thanks. I really hope that you enjoyed that one. If you have any questions at all, do please let me know. And remember, I do offer a free discovery call. You can head over to my website, robertjamescoaching.com. There's a link in the show notes. Many thanks, and I will see you next time. This video is for education only. It's not therapy or medical advice. If you're struggling, please speak with a licensed mental health professional.